This is a notion that I thought of in the spring when I was preparing for another conference. Okay, so what is it that all of this that we have been talking about for the last 2 days, what is it that's really bubbling up? And there are a couple of things, and one of them for me is that we've got all these wonderful tools out there that we're learning about all week, but we're not really teaching people how to pick what tool for what purpose. So really we're changing from teachers in the stand in the front and tell you what's going on. Our role is changing from that. It's changing into educational engineers. We need to start engineering the learning environment because now we can do that. In my line of work, I am working with people who want to do distance delivered education. Okay, the first thing that I have to ascertain is, do they understand education? And what are their goals? And what do they really want to do? Okay, in my case, living in Wyoming, a lot of times what they really want to do is not travel in the winter. You know, they've got these 3-ring binders they've been carrying around every winter for the last, 7, 8 years. They don't want to do that anymore, okay? That's about as far as we go as far as agreeing on what our plan is. Okay, so I have to explain to them that to change that 3-ring binder into a distance delivered course is going to take longer than what they're used to. It takes more time, okay? So to design a distance delivered course that I can go and do, it's going to take a long time because it requires that I redefine my role as a teacher, okay? I have to rethink what I'm doing. And I have to have more precision in my designing. I have to be more precise because I cannot fill in the gaps if I'm not there, right? So as a teacher, if you stop me now and say, well, I don't know what you mean by this, bam, I can fill in the gaps, right? But I can't do that if I'm designing a distance course. It has to pretty much all be designed specifically for you, okay? It requires that I know my goals. What do I want to teach? I have to have a new way of thinking about the material, a new way of thinking about activities and reading and gathering information. And so that's where what I'm saying is going to tie into what you're going to hear by the folks after me, and in fact what you've heard by the folks prior to me, okay? So we have talked a lot about tools and activities all the last 2 days, but we haven't talked a lot about how does that fit in with my actual teaching goals, okay? All right, delivery in a distance delivered class becomes more simplified. Delivery, I set up the delivery, there it is. It's good to go. The trick is that now I'm available 24/7 and so is the course, okay? You need to think about that. I can't just go out and close the door and I'm done for the day. People are poking around in your room all the time, in your learning environment all the time. So prepare for that. Give them something to do. Let them be in there and find things and do what you want them to do. The other thing is, and I think somebody was going to share this with us in a minute, maybe it was Will, you were talking about your Moodle class. It creates a record of learning. You get data in this environment. So here's an analogy about sticking with the engineering analogy. So first I have to decide, where am I going to build my environment, right? Am I going to put my learning environment for my goal, whatever it is? Am I going to put it online? Is that a good environment for it? Is it going to need to be a face-to-face thing given this goal? Does it have to be face-to-face? That's where I want to put it? Or do I want to make it blended? I have to first decide that, and I make that conscious decision, right? Do I even need to build a learning environment? Because maybe just what I have is information. I don't really need to assess anybody at the end. I just want everybody to know this stuff, right? Then I don't need a complex learning environment. Maybe I just need a web page, or maybe I just need a handout, right? So, and then I need to think about, what tools do I need? When I think of tools, our educational engineers are thinking of resources. Do I need books? Do I need software? Do I need apps? Do I need videos? What do I need? What tools do I need? What activities do I need? What am I going to put with what? How am I going to make this whole thing interact so learning is going to happen? Are there any prerequisite skills? It's kind of like building the foundation. Do I need to do some prerequisite skills before I can get to the next level and the next level? As an engineer, I have to know that, right? And so what are the right tools for my learning environment? The last example is, here's the analogy. Let's say we're building a house. We have to build that foundation, right? Like I was saying, prerequisite skills. Are there any prerequisite skills? Then when I'm thinking about the next piece, I'm thinking about what rooms do I want in my house, right? Do I need a kitchen? You know, what do you get in a kitchen in a real house? What? What? A refrigerator, sink. What did somebody say over here? Nourishment. Okay, so using the analogy, you do have a refrigerator and sink now. Using the analogy of nourishment, then that might be my resources. So I'm going to build an environment, right, where I'm going to have a resource place. What else? Bedroom. What do you do in your bedroom? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Just kidding. Just try and see if you're awake. Okay, so like let's say bedroom. I reflect in my bedroom, right? It's quiet. I'm just reading. I'm reflecting, right? So you might want to, in your educational environment, build a place for reflection, right? So how can I reflect on this information that we're learning, right? Okay, so what else? We have a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room. A living room. What do you do in your living room, for those who can share? Socialize. You socialize. So I might want to collaborate. I might want to problem solve, right? I might want to just socialize, just share information, right? So that's how I want you to think about when we're building this environment, this learning environment. What are the spaces? And what do I want the students to be doing in those spaces that are going to meet my ultimate goal, right? My ultimate learning goal. So very important. So the activity that I want you to start with, and you can either write it down or not. I know it's late on a Friday.